When I was teaching psychology, I did my own anecdotal research. And here's what I discovered. I asked a question that was trivial to most, but it made sense to me because I was trying to get at some information. I said, how many sex partners do you think you're going to have throughout your life before you finally settle down with the one? Do you know that overwhelmingly between the ages of 19 and 29, the majority of my students declared that they were going to have over 100 different sex partners before they turned 50. Now, I had to think about that for a moment, and then it made sense when I asked them to explain their answer. And you know what was startling? Most of them said, I don't really know what I'm looking for, but I know I have to be good for him to want to stay with me. Now, that really makes us need to talk about some things. Because while you're good at sex, you know nothing about love. So you learn at an early age that I gotta be good. They'll tell you that certain sexual acts will get you a home, girl. If you're good at it, you're gonna get a home. But you gotta really think about how we're teaching our children. You gotta think about what this young generation is coming up believing. It's no wonder why relationships aren't working. You're mastering sex acts, but you're not mastering love. Love of self, love of family, love of God. You don't master anything else but love of sex. Isn't it interesting though? How now you have a conversation and people want to be sexy more than they want to be anything else. They're into their sexuality, but they have no idea on who they are. They know the name on their back. They know the clothes. They know the name brand, but they don't really know their own name. And so now when you approach them and you're having a conversation, they don't know how to have a normal conversation. Because they think if a guy starts talking to you, he automatically must want to sleep with you. Because that's how the night has to go. Or he's not going to like you. It's amazing to me. You know sex. But you don't know love. You know all what your leg's supposed to do. You can spread it, but you can't spread your mind. Your mind's not open. And so then you never wrestle with this thing called life. You never wrestle with this thing called destiny and purpose. So now all you know is if I'm sexy enough, then men will flock to me. But if I'm smart, if I'm intelligent, if I'm carrying myself with character and purpose and like somebody who has a destiny before them, and many get sidetracked. Think about what you could have accomplished if you wasn't wasting time in relationships. Think about if you could just take a break from relationships for a while and just go on and do what you're supposed to do. Think about how many times people in your family would have graduated if they wasn't messing with him. Think about the brothers who would be further if they wasn't messing with her. Some relationships, let's face it, they derailed you from destiny. Destiny was sitting there tapping its foot. And then you met her or you met him. And it seemed like everything that you used to dream about went out the window. Because now you understand sex. You got a PhD in sex. From the time you was a teenager, you start learning how to be good at sex. But you never spent time on love. We got that wrong. We have not taught that correctly. We haven't taught it correctly in the church. We haven't taught that correctly in the school. And I'm telling you, passing out condoms does not make me want to know about love. It makes me want to practice safe sex. So who are you depending on to help you get this thing together? Are you waiting for some legislation to pass? Well, if they teach it better at school, See, the problem with it is that now you have people who only identify themselves by their bodies. It is hysteria. It's mass hysteria. Because if your body is not right, then you don't feel right. If your hair ain't right, you don't feel right. If your gear ain't right, you don't feel right. And I'm gonna tell you, you're not your gear. You're not what you do. You're not what you wear. You're not your hair, as India Arie would say. But the problem is, no matter what I say, you don't really believe that. You gotta come back and visit the subject again. Because your sexuality is more than just a sex act. In these next couple of videos, I think what you'll find is that these videos are designed to help you in any area of your relationship that you feel like you may be struggling. So we put together something called Relationship Basics 101. And what it's designed to do is to help you through the tough spots, the rough places, where you feel like I really need just somebody to give me a little bit more insight on how to deal with these situations. So from arguing to apologizing and being able to fight fair and being able to know what you can put up with and what you shouldn't. I mean, some of these things you know, some of these things you're hearing for the first time. But if it uplifts your life and strengthens your relationship, then share it with somebody else.